You're mono black. Sorry, you cannot have interaction. You're worthless.
Hi guys, me and Pontus here doing a post-game talk about some of our thoughts from our game where we see people do cool actions that signal information to others and our thoughts about actions and choices with cards. We would like to point out that one of the people we're gonna criticize actually won the game, so it's very tiny optimization on someone who actually won the game, so we're not criticizing bad players here. We're just thinking about the small detailed choices.
A play that's not optimized doesn't have to be bad.
No.
Basically.
And there's like strange different pathways with different options.
Yeah, for sure. This is an ever-branching game. Like, every game will be branching different ways, turn to turn. It's hard to say which one is objectively correct because there's a lot of variance in this format.
So, rhetoric cost vamp tutor, and in response...
Death cast op agent.
There it is. I really like black I really like op agent's black interaction, honestly. Like
like op agents is a great card.
Yeah, I want to see more black hate bears, honestly.
They're already so good, monsters. We can chill a bit.
We want more. We want more.
Hate bears are boring. Just cast Nos.
No. Hate bears are great.
The big thing I disagree with here is finding the force of will, personally.
Yeah, so that
because it
finds a force of will from rhetoric here with the op agent.
It's kind of cute because like he's planning to wheel next turn anyways, I assume, with the Whispering Madness. So it's kind of cute to have the force of will that will remain in hand even though you wheel.
But that's like the same thing for everything. Like Fasa's Oracle will also remain in hand if he wheels after this.
Yeah, sure, but like interaction is good to have.
Yeah.
The things that I dislike with getting a force here is one, it's public knowledge. Like I saw force and I'm like, oh nice, I don't have to worry about any other player. Like for your situation, heuristic study there is like you just sit there and wait for a long game. Yeah. So I feel personally I would much rather fetch like maybe even a Nos gambling for a land on top, or just find like a Ristic, because Ristic and Mystic is like best two cards in the format in my opinion.
Yeah, I would honestly I'd rather find a Ristic study here than but to argue for the force, if you have a game plan that is already like gonna get there, like just having extra protection feels nice.
Yeah, that's why I assumed he was winning on his turn when he got the force, because why would you ever get the force if you're planning for a longer game, kinda? So then when he got his next turn and didn't really do anything, I was like, wait, what's the plan here?
There is another argument for the force though, that is his hand doesn't really have much interaction besides the op agent, but op agent doesn't really interact with everything. Like there's a Daffy Voidwalker in play, so there's anti-graveyard, winning just fastest consult win from someone could happen from out of nowhere. So having a
but you also
means that you can pass turn more safely.
Like sure.
The main plan here, and by the way, we're hating on the person who actually won the game. Spoilers, Def won this match, so we shouldn't be too harsh on his decisions here. But still, like his game plan here is to use Whispering Madness, and you have force. But that game plan isn't great because look at everyone's hand size. Everyone is benefiting from the Whispering Madness more than him. Yeah. Because he has the highest hand size. Using the Oppo agent and get a different game plan. Like get mana for the commander and sit in a value city position. Like get that Teferi into play, so to say.
Teferi isn't long for... Oh, well, no. I guess I can't really get through. Never mind.
No, you can't. I think...
I can double swing at Teferi, but that's not something I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
As a person.
This position, I think Ristic Study would be a great fetch instead of Force.
Yeah, I would 100% get Ristic Study here, personally. Yeah. Like, of course there are multiple choices. I think a publicly known counterspell is just... not the worst choice. You can actively pick bad cards, and Force is still a good card, but it's not the choice that actually helps you win the game. It barely helps you to not lose.
Force of Will is like a filler card, so to say, in your deck, right? When you have something like an Op Agent steal, you can steal like so great cards. Like you stick in Mystic Remora or Ristic Study or Fasas. Just even taking someone's Fasas is just good for you and horrible versus them.
There's also like the classic discussion about like threat assessment in cEDH, which is like kind of valid. In this case, I think that getting the Force of Will is scarier than getting a Ristic or whatever, because that makes that Like if you're talking like what your opponents expect from the way you play, getting the Force of Will there in my head means that you have a win which you want to protect, because otherwise the Force of Will doesn't further your game plan. The moment he got that, I was like, okay, my whole turn is just cast heuristic and pass and hopefully draw something of my commander, which I didn't. I had 2 lands, which isn't great. So I just assumed we had lost because he has a win with protection on his turn, and that's usually hard to deal with. We had a similar situation last video we uploaded with Jordan with the Mystic Remora situation. Jordan sees the turn 1 Necro from Anis.
So yeah, we had this game as well, you said. And what was it in?
Yeah, it's in the first game in this video. Yeah, it's here. It's post the one tutor. So
before this, Jordan had used the Gitaxian probe on Anis. So he knew Anis' hand. And this is my turn 1. Jordan's just had his turn 1. So Anis hasn't played anything.
Cast a fish and you respond with the Vamp Tutor.
Yeah.
Because you don't want me to draw, which is fair.
Here's the trick. Jordan casts.
Yeah, Jordan will soon be casting that Nature's Claim in his hand.
Yeah, there we go.
When he casts this, I'm like, okay, Anis isn't that scary. Sure, that's fair. Destroying with my fish before I draw cards. If Anis doesn't do anything notable, that's fair. I doubt it, since it's Anis and he's playing a turbo list. I know he's gonna do something, and Rogsai is blazingly fast.
Yeah, here he goes actually.
Yeah.
Cabal Ritual from Lotus Petal into Necro turn 1.
Turn 1 Necro is pretty scary, especially in those fast lists.
Yep.
It doesn't represent the Git probe. It doesn't represent the direct win because you can't do the double red for an extra turn spell.
No.
But still, drawing up to 30 cards and then passing.
Yeah, he stays at 12.
Probably, he doesn't go to 30, but still. You still probably find a win from that.
You also get Taxian Probe your hand, so you can like see what kind of interaction you have, so you can prepare his Necro pile better here. But
I don't think that changes a lot.
But the argument we're talking about here, should you or should you not destroy fish there in Jordan's position?
With this hindsight of he destroyed fish, with Anis having that turn 1.
But we should also point out that Nature's Claim does not actually interact with Necro here. Because in response to Nature's Claim, Anis will just pay the same amount of life and still get all the cards into his hand. Also, destroying Necro is a good thing for Anis because he gets to draw a card and all the cards will actually go to his grave and not exile. So theoretically, using Nature's Claim on something different is correct. However, there are arguments.
Yeah, so like Nature's Claiming the Necro isn't the thing I'm considering at all. Because, as you say, it doesn't matter, and also Anis gains 4 more cards probably because he'll just activate it for 4 more, knowing he'll get the life back, if life is the thing he's considering when going lower. Okay, the dynamic changes here as well, because Mons is playing mono black. Mons is not nothing, but he's basically nothing for interaction for the third player.
Thank you.
You can't count on Mons to stop Anis at all.
No, it's true.
So it's basically just me and Jordan versus Anis if Anis goes for an early win.
Gotta have blue or white here.
Yeah. So destroying my Remora here, knowing that he knew about the turn 1 Necro, makes me think, okay, so Jordan has something against this.
There's also there's something here more to mention, is that Mystic Remora is a really strong card that you don't want someone to sit on. However, there is a situation where you need someone to deal with another someone. So like, we need to feed the Mystic Remora, which is something you really hate. Something you sometimes sadly have to do, or have to do is a shouldn't be a set in stone, but it's a necessary evil maybe sometimes.
If Anis knows that I'm drawing that much, he probably has to at least keep some interaction for me as well, because it's just not 1v1, it's 1v1v1v1.
Yeah. The thing in cEDH is that we are teammates when there's someone winning, even though we're playing like a Game of Thrones, so to say.
It's 4-3 versus 1s at the same time, basically.
Yeah, it's strange.
It's a weird dynamic, yeah. The thing here is, Jordan has no interaction in hand when he casts a Nature's Claim. You have no interaction in hand.
No, I don't have interaction in the deck.
Well, yeah, you're mono black, sorry. You cannot have interaction. You're worthless.
No. There's like a Daffy and a op agent in there. Oh, yeah.
So it's basically just down to me to interact with Anis this game when the nature's claim is put on a stack. And I do understand the feeling of I don't want to be put too far behind. That's a feeling I can understand, because like if me and Anis starts fighting, he tries to win and I have a fish, I will be fed, and then you will have 2 threats instead of 1 threat. And like I understand that position. Like in this scenario, being Jordan, you kind of need me to be able to interact. And casting this Nature's Claim means Anis has to fizzle or we lose. And I think that chance is way lower than... I think your win rate is way lower in doing that play than letting me also be a threat that Anis has to respect.
Like, ultimately, I do actually agree with you. You should not destroy the fish here. But if he didn't have a Gitaxian probe, Anis, and knew about the Necro, I would probably have destroyed the fish here.
Yeah, if you didn't Git probe Anis, the whole discussion goes out the window.
Yeah, there is the Git probe.
Yeah, it's kind of thing like when you're playing Control, you have to manage your resources, and your resources include your opponents.
Yes, but like what you said there, like honestly, whatever he does here in this position, you're like, it's not great. This is a losing position.
Yeah. But if we then move forward, so with all this said, if we then move forward to my turn...
I don't think you do anything on your turn.
That's the whole thing.
Yeah, you just put a land into play pass, and then Anis goes to his turn.
Yeah, okay, Anis goes to his turn. Yeah, this
tries to combo off. Here, Fastest Oracle comes into play.
Okay, so here we go.
He has Mental Misstep and Pact and Tainted Pact. Yeah, he's such a good position here.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I assume would be the outcome when you turn 1 Necro. And he fast mana, and then fish, or add Nos, basically. So as you can see here, I'm talking to audience. And this is because Jordan knew this was coming, not this exact iteration of the hand, but knew that a Necro was coming, and he chose to interact with my fish. So my thinking is, Jordan definitely has to have something here. At least 1 counterspell, maybe 2.
He has 1.
Yeah, otherwise he would never destroy the fish already, basically.
And here you go Red Blast. No, Pyroblast, sorry, Pyroblast.
Pyroblast, yeah. But the thing here is, I could have led with Silence. Okay, so first things first, why I did not cast the Chromox is a question you can ask me, and I will never be able to answer. I think I forgot I was able to excel the Simian to Chromox, which
everyone
is a dumb
makes
thing
misplay,
to
not only Jordan.
Yeah, for sure.
Look at that, he makes misplays.
Yeah, I'm never gonna claim anything else. So all of this basically boils down to me not casting the Chromox because I didn't want to remove the Simian.
Yeah, you should have led with Silence here in...
Yeah, but that's the thing.
Yeah, you were tricked.
I would have tricked.
Oh no, not tricked, but your thought process was that Jordan has a lot of interaction. Jordan saw the Necro, so Jordan has planned for the Necro if he destroyed fish. So that was...
Also, Jordan went land pass, so I'm like, okay, nice. Jordan has interaction, he's just bullying me a bit, and that's totally fair. I would do. Which is why I don't cast the Silence, because I'm like, I still want to have actions left in my hand. I don't want to use all my interactions just because Jordan doesn't want to use his. So I'm gonna tap out from the Silence, use the Pyroblast, keep the Silence for a rainy day later in game, which is eventually why we lost, because Anis had 2 pieces of interaction and I didn't use all of mine.
Yeah, so if we actually explain the Silence impact here, because first off, Silence does nothing, because Anis casts Fasa's Pontus responds with Silence. Anis just responds with Demonic Consultation and it's GG's. However, if Consult resolves, Silence still have to resolve before Fish resolves, and in response, you can Pyro the Fish.
Yeah.
And Anis can't interact with the Pact of Negation because there's a Silence effect, and Anis have to let the Silence resolve to be able to get the Fish trigger. So Anis had to use Pact on Silence, but then Pontus can use Pyroblast on the Fasa's Oracle here.
Yeah, exactly. Or he just missteps the Silence before he consults, which is the...
But then Jordan did use his Force of Negation later on, and that would have saved the day. But then Anis could use the Pact of Negation on the Force of Negation.
Yeah, because I didn't cast a Silence, Anis had 2 pieces of interaction, or 1 piece of interaction left for Jordan's spell here. Anis also knew about the Pyroblast, so I don't think he overcommits there, unless he missteps the Silence, goes to Thassa City B, and then he goes for the consult. Then he doesn't win because I pyro the Pact, but it's still not that badly off. Because of how you act, your opponent's threat assessment changes. Because Jordan claimed my fish here, that made me assume he was in a different game state than he actually was. I'm not saying that Jordan is wrong here, but that are those small factors that you kind of need to like take into account when you do game actions. For example, death getting the force of will. To me signalizes, okay, in what board state would I as a person get the force of will instead of a actionable piece? And it's kind of like, okay, it's if you already have the action in hand and just want to protect my win already in hand. This is a clearer example in my mind, but it's still a similar situation where the game actions Jordan took made me think a different way about the board states. Going to the extreme, me not casting the Chromox is the thing that made me not want to take extra game actions that game. So basically I lost because I didn't cast Chromox. But there's still a discussion to be had, because if I had the Chromox, I wouldn't feel bad about exiling the Simian, and I wouldn't feel as bad as using, like, yeah.
I think the takeaway here is, even if you don't want politics in the format as well, politics kind of exists just because people will think about your actions, just your reasoning to action, even without you saying anything. Like the fact that you just cast an Oppo agent and take force of will is saying something to someone, and that someone is gonna change or think or theorize about your thoughts and what cards you have in your hand just because of that action without you saying anything. So it's like that quiet politics, so to say.
I would personally call it politics. It's just threat assessment, which is like the key to cEDH.
Yes, like this is a very common thing, I think.
Yeah, like this could also just be like casting the demonic tutor and passing. And it's like,
yeah,
that action based on the board state can send multiple different like signals. You could just be searching up a interaction spell to pass safely because you can't win on your turn. But it could also be you're finding a win for next turn.
Talking about that Oppo agent finding force of... I've seen so many people use Demonic Tutor to find force of wills, and I don't like that. It's the same argument. But like, just say something like simple like this. Say you tutor twice. You go vamp Demonic Tutor, and everyone knows that you have Fastest Consult in your hand.
Completely separate topic, which is just based on this thing. If you have multiple tutors, try to play powerful spells in between them. For example, vamp tutor up and step before your turn. No matter what you got, play the Mana Crypt and then Demonic Tutor. People think you might get the Mana Crypt.
Yeah.
That's like small optimization you can do. So you just don't cast the Demonic Tutor, then cast the Mana Crypt, which still might look like you got the Mana Crypt of the Demonic Tutor. But yeah, sequencing plays sends different signals.
One thing you could do is, if you have a turn 2 Rhystic, but you have a turn 1 Vamp Tutor, you go Vamp Tutor, find Phasas, turn 2 cast Rhystic Study, and everybody's gonna think that you turn 2 the Rhystic Study with the Vamp Tutor, and your Phasas is gonna be hidden in your hand.
For sure. Yeah, so that's like how you can exploit the signals you're sending, or one of the ways. The biggest thing with the up-agenting for a Force of Will is the fact that the information isn't hidden. People will always lean on you with interaction. It's like, nice, I can now pass on any spell. Yeah, that brings an end to this talk. cEDH is hard.
Hope you liked the little talk, game theory analysis. Take care, guys. Stay safe.
Bye-bye.